The story of Finland during World War II is an extraordinary one. Initially defending themselves against an attack from the Soviet Union, they then fought on the same side as Nazi Germany, before finally switching allegiance and fighting with the Allies against Hitler. Finland's complex relations were rooted in its history of occupation and domination by other countries. For almost 700 years, Finland was part of Sweden. In the Finnish War of 1809, between Sweden and Russia, Finland entered into an autonomous union with the Russian Empire, and from this time forward, the country prospered. But the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 appeared to threaten Finland's situation. The country's parliament declared independence, a declaration the overstretched Bolsheviks were forced to accept. Parliament ordered Russian troops and local communists to disarm, leading to the Finnish Civil War, which was decided when German troops on the Eastern Front entered Helsinki. A subsequent purge of Red Guards led to the deaths of over 12,000 people. The new government of Prime Minister Juho Kusti Paasikivi pursued a pro-German policy. After the Bolshevik victory in the Russian Civil War, Finland and Russia convened to decide the border between the two countries. The result was uneasy for both sides, and disputes remained, most notably concerning Russian Karelia, which had a Finnish-speaking majority, despite never being part of Finland. Fast-forwarding 20 years to the signing of the infamous Molotov-Ribbentrop Non-Aggression Pact between Hitler and Stalin, Finland was part of the secret carve-up of Europe that the two tyrants envisaged. Following its completion, the Soviets made territorial demands of Finland that the latter had no intention of accommodating. On the 26th of November, the Red Army carried out a false flag operation, claiming that the Finns had shelled a Russian village, which they had shelled themselves. On the 30th of November, the Soviet Union invaded, a move that resulted in their expulsion from the League of Nations. The so-called Winter War had begun. The 9 divisions of the Finnish army faced 16 divisions of the Red Army, with the Soviets also enjoying total armour and air superiority. Finland also had to contend with defending a 1,287-kilometre frontier. In the initial stages, the Soviets advanced and attempted a pincer movement to encircle the defenders. But by late December, they had been stopped in their tracks by the performance of a Finnish army which exceeded all expectations. A renewed Soviet offensive in 1940 forced the Finns to the peace treaty table, and they were eventually obliged to accept territorial concessions that exceeded those originally demanded. A lull had been secured, but Finland was under no illusions that the Soviets would be back for more. The Finns made frantic attempts at a diplomatic and military understanding with both Britain and Sweden, to no avail. The only possible arrangement left was with the Nazis. There's lots more to come in this video, but please consider liking, subscribing to the channel, and sharing. And please consider supporting my work with a PayPal donation. The link is in the description. Thank you. Finland's situation was a gift to Hitler. Having never had any intention of upholding the non-aggression pact with Stalin, by the summer of 1941, Operation Barbarossa, the plan to steamroll the Soviet Union, was ready to roll. He was happy to have the Finns on board. As Barbarossa began, the Soviets retaliated with air raids on Finnish cities. Finland declared war and allowed German troops stationed in Finland to attack the Soviet Union. So began what is known in Finland as the Continuation War. Finnish troops quickly regained the territory previously lost, and then some, participating in the blockading of Leningrad, though failing to take the vital port of Murmansk. Now all of a sudden, on the 4th of August 1941, the Soviets wanted peace with Finland, but the Finns weren't falling for that one. By December, Great Britain had declared war on Finland, though this was largely symbolic. At this point, Finland's armies dug into defensive positions. For almost 3 years, the Finnish front line was relatively quiet. Then on the 9th of June 1944, the Red Army launched a major offensive that pushed the Finns back to pre-continuation war positions. Eventually, the Soviet offensive was fought to a standstill in the Battle of Tali-Ihantala. But as in the Winter War, prospects for defending a second offensive were bleak. Finnish President Risto Ryti gave Germany his personal guarantee that Finland would not negotiate peace with the Soviet Union for as long as he was president. In exchange, Germany delivered weapons to the Finns. After the Soviet offensive was halted, however, Ryti resigned. With elections impossible due to the war, the Parliament selected the Marshal of Finland, Carl Gustaf Emil Mannheim, the Finnish commander-in-chief, as president, and charged him with negotiating a peace. The Soviets were preoccupied with the race to Berlin and had received a few bloody noses from the Finnish army, so quickly signed a ceasefire in September 1944, moving vital troops from the Finnish frontier to charge towards the German capital. They did, however, insist that Finland pressure remaining German troops to leave Finnish territory. Some remained in Lapland, refusing to withdraw to Norway, resulting in the short Lapland War. German troops were forced out and instituted a scorched earth policy as they left. At the end of the war, Finland was designated as an ally of Nazi Germany and punished with reparations and territorial loss, with the final peace treaty signed in Paris in February 1947. Throughout the Cold War, they were neutral and received assurances from the Soviet Union that their territory and neutrality would not be breached. Finland siding with Nazis for parts of World War II should not be seen too harshly. They were abandoned by European democracies and forced into one tyrant's arms by the threat of another. Their army was outside the German command structure. They fought only against the Red Army, and latterly against the Nazis. Finnish Jews were not persecuted or deported, although in 2000 the Finnish government apologised for an incident where 8 of the 500 Jewish refugees in Finland were handed over to the Germans. Inside Finland, the continuation war is hotly debated, but many realise that it was a war of self-preservation, an alliance of convenience as a last resort, and that they made the best that they could of a deal with the devil.